Hey, Elevate, I'm excited to be here. I know I say that every week, but I really am. Because one of my favorite things to do is actually talk about Jesus. And so we're going to talk about that today. We've been talking about the resurrection. We had Easter, which is obviously Jesus' resurrection. We talked about Lazarus being resurrected from the grave and how you should come out of the grave too. Now I'm going to talk about a resurrection that you may not have heard of. And it's kind of a goofy one, it's kind of a silly one, and there's all this backstory, and there's like a evil queen, and a fight off, and fire comes from clouds, and then somebody kills a bunch of people. So there's a lot going on, so I'm going to try to break it down for us a little bit. It's about two of my favorite prophets in the Old Testament, Elijah and Elisha. So it gets a little confusing, sometimes people mispronounce them, no one, but Elijah was this amazing guy, and he's very well known for is there's this queen, and she was like causing all kinds of problems, and she challenges, they get a challenge, and Elijah ends up calling fire down from heaven, like God sends down fire and burns up those people. And then we usually hear that, like I think there was a VeggieTales about that, and a Sunday school about that, and all these different things. But after that, Elijah, there's this huge hill, Mount Carmel, that he runs up and down 3 times, killing all the prophets. So read your Bible, there's some good stuff in there. It's mainly rated R. But there's some stuff that happens right after that. And this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today, but it is important. Because Elijah hits a high of a high in his life, but right afterwards hits a low of a low. I know if you guys have experienced this before, I have, where you come back from camp, or you come back from this amazing experience in life, and you hit a new low in life. And you're struggling. And Elijah actually gets kind of suicidal here. He's actually struggling and depressed so much that he just prays to God, God, just end my life. I'm ready to be done. Even though he had this amazing victory. And God does this amazing thing. He gives him some food, he gives him some rest, and he gives him a friend. Some of the times in our life, all we need is to have some good food, have a good nap, and have a good friend to talk to. So I encourage you guys, if you guys are struggling, as I know a lot of you are right now, eat some good food, take a good nap, and talk to a good friend. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about Elijah and Elisha. Now, Elisha was like Elijah's mentee. Their mentor, mentee, they did all these things together. They had a great partnership. Elijah kind of discipled Elijah and trained him on all these different things. And it actually reminds me of, I have this friend, Eric Anderson, who actually was kind of the guy who trained me in youth ministry and got me in wanting to pursue youth ministry and to teach Jesus to high schoolers. So we got this going on. They're partnering, they're doing all this stuff. But what I love about Elisha and why he's one of my favorites, not only did he get made fun of because he was balding and have bears attack the children that was making fun of him, which also another thing Eric Anderson struggled with was his, well, we won't go there. But he does this. And so it's a funny thing. But Elijah prays at the beginning of his career, God, give me 2 amounts of passion as Elijah. Now the Hebrew word for that is chutzpah. So everybody say it, chutzpah, chutzpah. If you want to get real Hebrew, you got to get the ch. You want to practice the ch, it's chutzpah. I just spit on my Bible a little bit. But the chutzpah, that means passion. That means the drive for God, to actually pursue God. It's how much chutzpah you have. And so when I think of when I'm doing things, it's God, give me more chutzpah, more passion, more love for him. And so Elisha prays, God, give me twice as much, double the portions, it's translated, as Elijah. So Elijah in his life did 7 recorded miracles. So one of them, there's some crazy ones. One of them was the fire. Some of them was the raven was feeding him. All these different things. But 7 recorded miracles in his life. Elisha prayed for double the measurements. And guess how much he got? How many recorded miracles were in his life? If you guessed 14, you are wrong. I'm sorry, it was 13. He was 1 short. But if you read the story of Elisha, he did all these great things. 13 recorded miracles. Almost there. But his life and his ministry did not end with his death. See, there's this goofy thing that kind of happens in the olden days and Hebrew things where they take you when you die and they put your body in a place and they leave you there until everything was gone except for the bones. And then they take your bones and transfer you to your final resting place. Now Elisha, when he died, they took his bones. And this is just silly. This is what makes me want to believe in the Bible even more. Because if I was writing it, I would have left the story out. Because this is like a huge error. And if I was writing a story about my life, I would have left something like this out. But the guy actually like trips and falls. And Elijah's bones fall out and land on another dead guy. And that dead guy is resurrected from Elijah's bones. And it's an amazing story. Now, we don't hear about what this guy did. If he took the second chance and was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to use this and just benefit from my life and do amazing things. Or if he squandered it. We don't know about this guy. But the challenge that I have for you today is Elijah prayed for twice the portion. And in his time, he got the 14. He did get double portions. And I encourage you guys to live a life of double portions for Jesus. Have the chutzpah twice as much, that when you're gone, people are still being affected by it, like Elisha was with this man. He left a legacy, and I encourage you guys to do that as well, to live your life so close to God and so much chutzpah that you change lives the way these people did. We'll see you.